Well, hello, everybody. It's Friday here with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. So glad you are with us here as we begin a weekend, and NCAA tournament basketball is topping the list. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I was hoping to see Barry McKnight at the Renaissance Hotel in Oklahoma City this morning.
I was hoping to be there as well this morning, but it was not to be. Yesterday, Troy went down big to Nebraska. Nebraska's really good and everything. I thought that Troy would give a better account. I'm disappointed that that they didn't really get a chance to the nation didn't get a chance to see how good Troy really is, how good Thomas Dowd is. He got hurt in the first 15 seconds of the game, and Nebraska wins it 76-47 in Oklahoma City. The place where the Thunder place seats 18,000. I bet about 16,500 were Nebraska fans just making the drive over. That was daunting as well, but it was a really good season. We're looking forward to next year already, but also looking forward to the rest of the tournament in a sort of a how about that kind of thing, for Troy. Former Troy player Flynn Clayman. I remember calling the games when he played for Troy. Flynn Clayman, who is the head coach of High Point University. Flynn Clayman and the High Point get the first big upset in college basketball in the NCAA tournament. Pretty fired up about that. High Point yesterday ends up beating Wisconsin. It's like Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad to see that. 83-82. Kid for High Point, I think his name's Chase Thompson. He had not made a 2-point bucket all year long. He's made like 163 three-pointers. He has made he's a starter. I mean, he plays all the time. He had not made a 2-pointer all year until the final minute when he gets a breakaway layup. His first 2-pointer of the season. That's the day and age we live in. And High Point beats Wisconsin yesterday.
Now, a couple of things, Barry. I do know my daughter had High Point in that game against Wisconsin.
Kidding me.
But I don't know if she had VCU against North Carolina. I have not gotten confirmation on that one, but I do know she had High Point.
Big comeback win for VCU. North Carolina, they had a lead. VCU takes it to overtime. Virginia Commonwealth. Remember them? Sonny Smith used to coach there.
Yeah.
And VCU wins it in overtime 82-78. Didn't really look like North Carolina really particularly loved being there or something like that. There were a couple of other ones too. Duke was trailing the whole game. They're like the number 1 overall seed. They were trailing the whole game against Siena.
I've heard of them, but I don't know where they're located.
I've heard of them, but I don't know where they're located either. And that's one of the few schools I don't know anything at all about. I don't know where they are. I don't know what conference they're in. I don't know what their mascot is. But I know that I've heard of Siena because I believe I'm right. This is top of my head. I believe I'm right. Former Indiana Pacers center Rick Smits, the Dutch Tower,
I remember him.
7 feet something. He either went to Marist. Yeah. He either went to Marist or he went to Siena. There's all those schools up there, Marist and Canisius and St. Bonaventure and Wagner and Ryder and Marist. They all kind of run together. But this is one of those kind of schools.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I was impressed. She texted me yesterday. Hey, how about check out High Point? I went, what about him? She says, I got him in my bracket. I went, no way. But I don't know about VCU. But how about Casino Greg down here? He's beating his chest this morning. He's going at it. Wrong one. Sorry, that one just popped up. This Casino Greg. 14 out of 16 in round one.
how can you be 14 out of 16 in round one and be in 100, almost 162nd thousandth place? I smell a rat there. I think they're putting a carrot in front of you.
Out of 26 million, that's probably not so bad. Not so bad at all.
I guess not. So
yes, I know there's a little distortion here. I'm going to work on that during the break. I'm in, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in one of those areas where the internet company says we don't offer that service in your part of the country at this time.
Yeah.
So you can tell I'm kind of in a remote area. So I'm going to try to get that worked on a little bit more. But hopefully you can hear me better than you can see me.
We got you. We can hear you just fine. But it's that tone, it's that feel of the whole thing. The NCAA tournament, and you know, I've been 2 years in a row, fortunate enough to do that for Troy. It is an absolute marvel of organization. I mean, you know, we got a police escort to the to Montgomery Regional. We charter flight. They had it waiting for us. Charter flight up there, fly into OKC. We have the police escort to the hotel. When we went to practice, we had a police escort to practice. You know, everything waiting for us. We had our own NCAA coordinator that was assigned just to Troy. And, you know, when you get to the arena, they got 9,000 people. Sure, let me show you to the media room. Yes, let me take you. Okay. And, you know, I mean, and then, you know, on the way back, they got a guy whose only job with the NCAA tournament is to coordinate the flights in and out of OKC. Yes, this bus first, you know, this bus first, then the players will take them out. And I mean, the whole thing is unbelievable how they can organize.
You know, Barry, it's interesting. You shared that with us. My wife asked me that last night. You know, she's trying to figure out, she's kind of watching it. I'm watching it. She's reading a book. And she noticed, she said, wait a minute. I just looked in that on the floor, it said Buffalo. And then I just see it now. It says Oklahoma City. What's going on here? I said, honey, they're playing all over the country. I mean, it's all over the place. Well, how do they get there? And who pays for it? I thought, well, those are some good questions. But she wanted to know the whole breakdown. I said, well, listen, Barry was telling me about it yesterday. Yep. They police escort them up there. They're flying them out. Somebody coordinates the whole deal. They don't do anything but show up. Somebody tells them where to go. It's pretty amazing.
And the NCAA pays for it all. You know, they pay for after the game yesterday. Unfortunately, didn't go Troy's way. We're packing up equipment right when Vanderbilt and McNeese were just getting underway. Hey, show your gold, Gurn. Vanderbilt wins it by 10, but we're packing up, and then we get the message, hey, we're leaving the hotel by 5:10 this evening. And I'm like, leaving the hotel to go eat? And it's like, no, leaving the hotel to come back home. And I'm like, you know, great. So they had that coordinated. They got somebody saying, all right, you know, Troy took it on the chin. They'll be leaving. We need to have that standby flight. It'll go back to MGM rather than, unfortunately, back to Lincoln, Nebraska or whatever like that. And
so they're not filing a flight plan until they know what team lost.
Correct.
They could have been going to Lincoln yesterday. They could have been going to Montgomery. Heck, could have been taking Vandy back to Nashville. You never know.
Right.
So I mean, they're making decisions quickly. But they got it down pat. They know how to do it. I'm sure these airlines and hotels, they got it all figured out as well. So, unfortunately, that's not what you want to happen, but it did. And I will say this, Barry, you brought it up earlier. It looked like there was a really good crowd at that game yesterday.
Oh, my gosh.
A really big Nebraska crowd at that game that was very loud. And as the game played on, Barry, and I was watching it on TV. I don't have a radio in my house. So I couldn't go out in the driveway because I was busy doing something. But I'm going to tell, I don't know, one of the announcers was Chris Webber, I think, played at Michigan.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know who the other one was.
What?
But
what?
It was like it was like rah-rah Nebraska with these two guys. I'm thinking enough already. I mean, come on.
John from Wetumpka, you want to weigh in on this? Are you on the Are you on the chat line at all, John? Let me see. John from Wetumpka. This is vintage right here because the lead television play-by-play guy is Brandon Gordon, who I knew. He used to do stuff for Georgia Tech. Brandon Gordon. You know the reason why John has never heard of him? John from Wetumpka, you want to serve this one up? The reason why John has never heard of him is he is the television play-by-play voice of the Atlanta Braves.
Ah, well, there you have it.
That's why John's never heard of him. You know, he could be the television play-by-play voice of the Nome Igloo Makers, and he would have the same amount of attention from John Longshore as the play-by-play TV voice of the Atlanta Braves.
You're right. I'll admit.
John said guilty. All right. That's the perfect reason. John says, you know, I'll buy that. I can buy that. That's a reason why I've never heard of the guy. He does the Braves games on TV.
At least I got half of the crew right. I knew Chris Webber from the Fab Five. This other guy, I promise you. I mean, I'm not kidding around. Not trying to be cute and funny. Never heard or seen that guy before in my life.
Because he does the Braves games.
They were so pro Nebraska. I'm thinking, and I'm not that kind of guy. Well, I don't know, because there's one radio broadcast I love to listen to because they are so pro toward one team, but I know that going in.
Sure.
But these guys, I'm thinking, wait a minute, enough of the Nebraska love fest here. I mean, let's go, guys. Come on. I was not not impressed.
The other, thanks, John from Wetumpka. Yeah, he did check in. Yeah, he's with the Braves. That answers it. The other big question of the day. Again, Casino Greg thoroughly caffeinated. Yeah. He says, Bama wins by how much today? Excellent. You go ahead and start thinking that. You go ahead and say, man, this is in the bag.
Double-digit favorite.
Against the pride of Hofstra. Hofstra is another one of those schools like Canisius and Siena. I know Hofstra is somewhere in Metro New York. Hofstra.
I didn't even know that.
And Alabama this afternoon. That'll be down in Tampa, 2:15 this afternoon. Hofstra and Alabama. That'll be on True TV this afternoon, 2:15 in the Midwest. Some reason why it's Midwest and they play in Tampa. I don't know that, I'm not saying Alabama loses that game. It's a 4 versus a 13. But Hofstra ain't bad. I do know that. I don't know what they are, but I know what they look like on the basketball court.
And Barry, you know what's going to happen if Alabama just happens to lose today? All of the basketball pundits out there are going to be talking about all the distractions, off the court issues. Nate Oates has lost his team, all that type stuff. So I'm just letting you know, Bama fan, get ready. Because if you lose today, everybody's taking free shots at you. What happened to Charles Bediako, Aiden Holloway, all that stuff, it is coming back. They'll probably, rekindle the Brandon Miller saga as well. So get ready for it. Need to win today. Worry about Sunday after you take care of business today. Bama, double-digit favorite, Barry. I got to tell you, I don't know much about Hofstra. I don't think many people that follow Alabama basketball do. It's probably one of those, Hofstra, we'll beat them. No big deal. Who's next?
John's just getting you ready. Okay, Bama fans, everybody's going to start jumping on you if you lose, because they love to hate on Alabama. Alabama gets more love than anybody in the country in everything. In everything, I almost guarantee you there will be some sort of a clip about Bear Bryant. I will absolutely guarantee you this is going to happen. You will, if Nick Saban is in Tampa, it's across the peninsula from Jupiter where he lives. If Nick Saban is in Tampa, they're going to have a picture of him. If he's not in Tampa, they're still going to have something. There will be a picture of Nick Saban at some point on the telecast. You can absolutely book it.
Okay, I'm going to be looking for that. He's probably playing golf today, I would imagine. But I'll be looking for that, and it wouldn't surprise me if they show some football footage as well. Yeah, Casino Greg also. Yeah, Georgia took it on the chin last night. I'm wondering why they even made the tournament. I know they beat Bama late in the regular season, but I was never impressed with Georgia all season long. And boy, last night that game got away from them big time. And St. Louis, they were representing. I'm telling you, their fan base was there last night. And who's this dorky guy that wears the goggles? It's real.
Oh man, Robbie. Robbie. They call him.
I mean, this guy. I got to tell you,
he can play, right? You always had that guy. You always had that guy in the fraternity league in college. That was 290 or something like that. They always had that guy, and everybody's like, "Geez, what is that guy doing?" And he'd be out there. He'd hit a couple of threes. He's got assists all over the place. He's blocking out half the team, getting all the rebounds. You're like, "Come on, fellas, why can't we stop this guy?" And he's drinking a beer at the quarter break and everything. Yeah, he's that guy.
He was. There was always a guy when you played Y basketball that was like that. The kid that was a little chubby, had baby fat still on, couldn't get up and down the floor real fast, but this guy could shoot. He could clog up the middle. He'd get a rebound every now and then. You're going, who is this guy? I mean, this guy does not look like a basketball player.
Yeah.
I understand his nickname is Milk Chamberlain.
Oh, yeah. Or they call him Cream Abdul-Jabbar. I love that one, too. Yeah, he's something. Yeah, and after the game, this is what you don't do as a coach after the game. Georgia coach Mike White says, boy, I didn't see that coming. Never say that.
No.
Never say that. Man, boy, I wasn't prepared for that. Don't admit to that at all. So,
never.
We are underway.
Today, unfortunately, I just got a text from the mayor's office. The mayor's got something that's come up. He's busy today, so he's not going to be able to join us. We'll reschedule the mayor. He wanted to talk a little hoops and what's going on in the city, but we'll do that later. But Ralph Michaels, Wager Talking the Goal Sheet at the bottom of hour number 2.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm." Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Get Truck Month deals on more than trucks at Stivers Ford of Montgomery. Explorers for $13,000 off. Broncos $12,000 off. Expeditions $10,000 off. And Bronco Sports $9,000 off.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Ford Truck Month is bigger and better at Stivers Ford of Montgomery. Take advantage of 0% APR on Super Duties, Lightnings, and F-150s. F-150s $18,000 off. Super Duties $2,000 under invoice. And Lightning $16,000 off.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Glad you're along with us here. It's Longshore and McKnight. John is on location. I am, unfortunately, I guess, it's good to be back home. I'm going to be back on the road this weekend at the home studio here. There were so many reminders of just how great the NCAA tournament really is. VCU from 19 down, beat North Carolina in overtime. That is the largest first-round comeback in NCAA tournament history. The in Chapel Hill, they are not really happy with either one of their two major sport head coaches, Belichick and Hubert Davis. So Duke was pushed to the brink. BYU gets beaten by Texas. TCU beats Ohio State. That's not much.
I wonder, Barry, though, with Duke, is it like, okay, first round game, let's go through the motions. Not to discount anything against their opponent, but were they really that focused? I wonder that.
Yeah, they were without their starting center, but still, it's Siena. And we had something on the chat board. Again, I tried to watch as many games as I can, but I had, obviously I had my own game to do and we were traveling and all that. Way offsides, Jeff. Love that guy. Way offsides. He said Duke was going down if white boy for Siena didn't get his ankle rolled up. That's part of the game.
Hey, you got to describe them in a way people will figure it out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Hey, that's what it's going to be later on when everybody talks about the tournament. Oh, look at this upset. Oh, look at that bracket buster. Siena would have won if white boy hadn't got his ankle rolled up. Oh, yeah. So today, just taking a look at today, again, we talked about this the other day. They had the new commissioner of the PGA Tour or something. He was on last week, and he says sports marketing is easy. You just think like a fan will think, and you're going to be right 9.5 times out of 10. That's what everybody's going to be doing about this tournament. Oh, the great things. No, I could not remember the name of the kid for Oakland University who hit all those threes. His name is Jack Golke. But that's what people remember. They don't remember, man, when they switched from that 1-3-1 zone into the man-to-man, oh, man, I'm telling you, that matchup really created up. Nobody's going to say that. They're going to say, yeah, white kid got his ankle rolled up. Yeah, or, exactly. Big black dude, they could not keep him off the glass. Or, so-and-so hit the miracle shot. They don't remember the huge win for Auburn in the Iron Bowl. They remember, hey, they had linemen downfield on that one. That should have been a penalty, or something like that.
Yeah, that's what. Kind of like who did Auburn beat to win the national title in football? Who was that team again?
Yeah, Oregon.
Yeah.
So now that the tournament is underway, there is wall-to-wall basketball. The first 2 days, the Thursday, Friday, are my favorite days. Today it gets started at 11:15 this morning on CBS. Kentucky fans got to be pretty sick and tired of this. They're not real happy with their coach either. They had to play in the first game of the first day of the SEC tournament at 9 a.m. Now they got to get up early. They got to play the first game of the day in the NCAA tournament at 11:15 a.m. against Santa Clara. Ooh, and then 11:40 Akron, Texas Tech. No, Long Island is not called the Ice Tees. Long Island is called the Sharks. They take on Arizona. Arizona's my pick to get this thing done. And then later on in the second wave of games, it'll be Alabama and Hofstra at 2:15. I'm out of pocket. Is Aiden Holloway on the trip? I'm sure he is. But is he going to play? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But yikes, you need to.
I don't think so. I think that. Excuse me. I think that ship has sailed. I don't think that's going to happen. One thing I was thinking about, Barry, I mentioned the Georgia Bulldogs. And I'm scanning here of all the other SEC teams that have already played. because as in football, you'll hear, well, look at the SEC. They're not doing real well in the bowl games. You don't want to have that happen again in round one of the NCAA tournament either. We do know Georgia has already lost.
Let's see.
So we got to have the rest of the SEC to kind of pick up their slack.
Yep. Arkansas wins over Hawaii. Texas A&M beats St. Mary's. Texas upsets BYU. Georgia, they lose. Not only they lose badly in this one. So today in the SEC, again, Alabama and Hofstra at 2:15. Kentucky and Santa Clara, the first game of the day. Tennessee plays against Miami of Ohio. I did get to see that first four game between Miami of Ohio and SMU. This from Way Offsides Jeff. He says there's always a hot shooting. Can we say Whitey? There's always a hot shooting Whitey every year that lights it up. He's not wrong. Miami has got a team full of them. They got, not all of them, but geez, I don't know why I got onto this topic, but Miami can shoot it. Watch out for that one.
Yeah,
if I'm looking at anything in the SEC, Miami of Ohio seems to me like a really good matchup against Tennessee.
Not to be confused with Miami of Florida. More on that later. We'll get into them a little bit later into the show as well. Now, Casino Greg says Holloway could be reinstated next week if Bama is still in it. All right, let's just think about that scenario, Barry. I think it's obvious that the police officers who searched his home with a warrant found 2 pounds of marijuana. Now, as far as I know, they didn't plant that marijuana. He wasn't set up. Maybe he was. Who knows? I don't know all the particulars of this case, but on the surface, they go to his apartment or his house, 2 pounds of weed, some paraphernalia, some cash. That doesn't look good. And the university is already, I don't want to say kicked him out of school. I think the term they used was released him from campus, something like that. I just don't see this guy playing again for Alabama. Barry, to me, he hits the transfer portal, ends up at, High Point. Get it?
Yeah. This is a
I can't take credit for that. Somebody else gave that to me. I got to give him credit.
You got to stop that, John. You got to stop being so humble, man. Nobody knows that it wasn't you. John will say, I've got to credit the VIP text line for giving me the obscure statistic about what Byram Brown's passing numbers were against top 25 teams a year ago. No, just go ahead and let everybody know. I have found out that Byram Brown only threw for a 41% completion percentage against Clemson or whatever. And everybody's like, wow, that's John Longshore. Yeah. He really doesn't. Instead, he's like, no, man. Appreciate my buddies on it. No, you got to stop. People are going to think you're that Ken Jennings from Jeopardy over there. Look at, man, John, that's top of his head
I don't know what to do without these guys.
Yeah,
Now, Greg,
the real rib tickler.
Barry, you got to help me out with this one. I think I know where Greg's going with this. He says it was his girlfriend's, not his. Who was the football player who allegedly hit this girl, but the girl's father said it was her fault?
Courtney Upshaw.
Yeah.
Courtney Upshaw. The dad, sold his daughter down the street. Hey, man, that guy needs to play. Have you seen our depth on the defensive line or at linebacker or whatever he played? I'm telling you, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing with that. If it actually was his girlfriend's, I don't even know if he's got a girlfriend. I don't even know what the deal was. All I know is, so it sounds like a tip-off to me. Somebody, that they've been, and they didn't just casually show up. They're like, okay, now we're ready. Let's go get him, because I guarantee you he's got it.
Under the circumstances, Barry, there again, okay, I guess there is a possibility. I've seen enough Law and Order episodes that somehow, some way, this ain't his weed, it's his roommate's weed or whoever. I just don't see him playing again for Alabama this year. I'm not sure he'll ever play again for Alabama.
But the thing is if he doesn't, this has gotten I'm not saying this happens all the time. If he doesn't ever play for Alabama again, and Oates and his guys go out recruiting, and they, they have a visit with some 4-star, 5-star, and the kid says, I remember now, you had a guy that smoked marijuana, and you guys kicked him off the team for weed. I ain't playing for you. Alabama all of a sudden is top of the mind awareness.
Yep.
Marijuana is illegal in Alabama. We know that. You cannot, even if you have the little the little stamp, that you pay for, which he did not evidently. They're gonna look around and say, man, that's a great school. This is a great school. I ain't going to Alabama because they kick you off the team for weed. I'm telling you, telling you. And I don't have personal experience. This is not a thing about the school at which I'm employed. But I'm telling you, for a lot of those kids, if you have a reputation for kicking guys off for weed, they ain't coming to your school, John.
Barry, there's no doubt about that. And people that just heard that or maybe shocked, don't be shocked because he's dead right. I've been saying it for years. And I got to tell you, Barry, do these coaches think about stuff like that? Yeah. Well, wait a minute. We don't want to have this impression that, we're hammering everybody that smokes weed because we know a lot of these guys do. There again, that's why they don't drug test these athletes because they know the results they're going to get. Now, I get it. Having over 2 pounds of weed, from what I'm told, is a lot of weed for one person. That's a different animal. I get it from, I guess, sitting around smoking a bowl or hitting a dugout with your buddies in your apartment. That's just some slang I picked up on, Barry, through the internet. I knew nothing about that.
You got to stop that, John. You got to stop that. This is John out and about on the streets, bebopping through life, and he's picked this up. This ain't from the VIP chat line. I picked this up from the internet. You got to be like Huggy Bear, man. This is the word. This is what's going on here. Come on.
And Barry, Casino Greg, we need to pick this guy up as a new sponsor of the program because I see their trucks around my neighborhood. But Casino Greg says, I use Weed Man for my lawn service just because of the name. I got to tell you, it's a really good name. And I see the guy's truck all over the neighborhood, Weed Man.
There's probably several people that do, for that reason. I don't know.
Hey, man, call the Weed Man, huh? No, I'm telling you, your yard will look great.
Best game of the day today, there's a couple of them, and they're usually the 8-9s. I think Miami of Ohio versus Tennessee is must-watch
good one.
Television. I think that's going to be a really good one. Also, a little bit later on, not necessarily Prairie View versus Florida, but watch out later on. This is an 8-9, Iowa versus Clemson. That is at 5:50 on TNT. So no bait car. Do they still even have bait car anymore?
I don't think they do. I hadn't seen that in a while.
That'll be a good one. And then the late game, if you're staying up late, check this one out. Missouri versus Miami of Florida. There's 2 Miamis there. I've broadcast from both places, and I've always thought Miami of Ohio, just give it up. Just rename your school. Because when 99.9% of the people in America talk about Miami, they ain't talking about you. So it's a little bit, confusing. Miami plays against Tennessee, but Miami also plays against Missouri. There's 2 different Miamis. That Miami-Missouri matchup ought to be pretty good. At 9-10, it's the last game of the day. If you are just absolutely killing it, like Casino Greg on your bracket, and you say, man, if I got this one, blah, 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 then that's one to watch for sure. Well,
yeah, you're right about that. There's some good games today. I'm looking forward to all of them, actually. Now, Barry, I got to mention something here today. Our friends at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. I dropped by there yesterday before I headed out of town. It was great. Everybody in the store has got a bracket. They're all hyped up. They're excited. They were filling their brackets out there right at the last minute before the first tip. Also getting into the Longshore and McKnight 4-for-4 in the Final Four contest. Great atmosphere over there. Great seafood as well. But I got to tell you this. These are the type people that they are. So I walk in. I said, Range Pro. I'm heading down to the coast. I got 4 high school seniors that like to eat. They're wrapping up their spring break, heading down there with them for a couple of days. I need to feed them. What should I go with? I'm going to fry some stuff up for them. These kids, they love it. They'll eat it all day. He goes, I got you hooked up. So he hooks me up with triple tail, red snapper, and sea bass. 3 different varieties. He said, I want you to check these out. Tell me which ones you and the boys like the best. Fry them all up. Put them on a Blackstone, however you want to cook it. They are outstanding. Gave me a couple of recipes. Dropped in some peeled and deveined shrimp for some appetizers that we're going to cook up. So really looking forward to seeing how this all cooks up. Going to tell you all about it on Monday. You can go by the Destin Connection and pick it up yourself. Also, gas prices are going up, but crawfish prices are coming down. Prices have dropped 50 cents per pound. So swing by the pickup window and grab your crawfish, either the spicy boiled or the live crawfish. They've got them for you at the Destin Connection, 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery. Man, I'm telling you, it looked beautiful. So many different varieties of seafood for you to check out. Nice crowd in there as well. And they're excited about their brackets at the Destin Connection. Go by and tell them John and Barry sent you.
That's what's called a pro tip. John's at the coast, but he ain't getting his seafood at the coast. He's getting it at the Destin Connection and carrying it down with him. Make sure you follow that.
It's fresher at the Destin Connection than it is from where I'm looking out this window right now. Promise you.
No doubt about it. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's our Friday show, Longshore and McKnight, in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with one of their clinics and take advantage of physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solution services. Get back in the game, get back to work, and get back to life with Phoenix Physical Therapy. To find a location near you and to schedule an appointment, go to phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. That's phoenixphysicaltherapy.com.
Okay, here we are back at it. It is about 20 minutes to the top of the hour here today on this Friday, NCAA Tournament Friday. A lot of fun, a lot of action yesterday. I know a lot of people were very excited about it. But, Barry, we're doing it again today. What we saw yesterday, you're going to see wall-to-wall basketball again today.
There is a ton of it. Just in case you're wondering, we like to give perspective. And this is my own research. A couple of things about today. And again, I understand not every game is going to be great, but every game, I just like the spectacle of it. And again, I like to see the competition of it. Alabama will play Hofstra 2:15 today. It is Hofstra's first visit to the NCAA tournament since 2001.
Okay.
Whew. That was the last year for Jay Wright as the head coach at Hofstra before he went to Villanova and won a couple of natties. So Hofstra, stars in their eyes. They're going to be coming out there. Wow, this is great. Big number in that game.
Wait a minute. See, those are the kind of games that'll sneak up on you, and you go, "Whoa, what happened here?" Not taking them seriously, kind of going out there, fiddle farting around, and the next thing you know, Hofstra's got you in a corner with their hands around your neck, and there's 30 seconds on the clock.
Oh, and Alabama's only leading by 5, and the line's 11.5. Come on now, So there's that.
Yeah, that's got to factor that in too.
Speaking of the line, the Florida Gators, defending national champion, number 1 seed in their region, they take on the Aggies of Prairie View A&M. That's at I think it's 8:25 on TNT. Florida is the biggest favorite in an NCAA tournament game since 1999. They are 35.5 point favorite. 35.5 point favorite over Prairie View. Does anybody, should anybody touch that line?
Well, no. Number one, no. Number two is why are they even playing this guy? I know the touchy-feely, one shining moment. We made the tournament. Wow, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, you'll be packing up leaving at the end of the day. So how excited are you going to be about that? So I'm going to go Nick Saban on you. Remember the year and everybody was kicking and screaming. And, of course, I said, Nick, preach on, brother, because I agree with you. Saban said, you know what? We would be favored against everybody that made the playoffs. Why are we not in it? Vegas says we are the favorite against every one of these teams. And I'm thinking if you're a basketball team in the NCAA tournament, I don't care what round it is, and you're a 35-point dog, you have no business being in the tournament. I know it's harsh. It might not be very nice and fair, but, it's just the reality. Should I go here? It's the real world.
It ain't Vegas is not the real world. I couldn't give two toots what Vegas says about it. These guys don't belong. What? They're 26 wins and, they're great players and all that kind of. No, it's Vegas. Vegas is not the real world. As a matter of fact, Vegas does everything humanly possible to try to take your attention away from the fact that you're in the real world. You don't see coming down the Eastern Boulevard a bunch of ladies walking around in gold lame with big headdresses, with overly made up face. Well, maybe a couple of places, but the
Barry, I got to tell you, I think Vegas is the real world. They portray it as a fantasy land, but there's a lot of business transactions taking place. Matter of fact, thousands and thousands of business transactions are taking place every minute of the day. Even right now at 5:43 Pacific time in Vegas, there are a lot of transactions going on. Not only with money, but then there's transactions with, well, honey, that'll cost you $1,000 for the night, $3,000 for the weekend.
Easy.
Those types of transactions take place as well.
This stuff is what drives me nuts because, according to John, the only value in the world is what Vegas says about you and what the general viewing public says about you. I couldn't care less what Vegas says. Hey, we would be favored in that game. Well, too bad you don't get that game then. That stuff drives me.
I've always, what, folks, you want to know one that's really going to drive Barry crazy? We don't need a college football selection committee. You know who we need? We need Vegas to tell us who the best 12 teams are, and let's throw them out there and play. That's what we need. We can get this taken care of in 5 minutes.
We need Big Vito. We need Little Petey. We need Paulie Walnuts. We need all those guys. Those are the ones who should be telling us, not the commissioner of the Sun Belt and the commissioner of the SEC and the Hall of Fame coach from Villanova. No, give me. What does Martino the Shark have to say? This evening, like I said, the best game of the evening round. Miami versus Missouri. I like that. That's the later game. That's at 9:10. Miami's a 2.5-point favorite over Missouri. Elsewhere at night, if you are just looking
more
at
on that later.
Oh. Other than that, later on tonight, if you are looking for a little action, John calls it a business transaction. I'm not sure exactly what you get out of it, but if you're looking for something really enticing this evening to watch, may not be the best evening for it. Florida favored by 35.5 versus Prairie View. Kansas favored by 13.5 against California Baptist. California Baptist, it's not a school, it's a church. Number 2, UConn favored by 20.5 against one of John's favorite mid-majors, the Paladins of Furman, who Troy beat on the road earlier this year.
I love Furman. But Barry, I have talked about California Baptist a lot lately. I've talked about, I don't even know what their mascot is. Don't really know. But
are they gonna
don't give me games where teams are like huge underdogs. That ain't what I want. I'll look at that for maybe 2 minutes and I'm moving on. So is the rest of the country. I don't get that.
There's two things. Number one, I have to say a hard thing here. It's not all about what John wants. I don't want that. It's not all about what John wants. Number two, I still think it is a huge stretch to say, I don't want that game. And the rest of the country didn't want that game. Again, this is one of John's strength in the sports media, is the absolute rock-solid, self-assured certainty that what I want is either what the entire country wants or what the entire country should want. John,
well,
I want this, and if
I
I want it, obviously everybody's got to want it, right?
So, majority of these games you're going to be watching, Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, Arizona, Michigan, Florida State, you're going to see them on CBS. Why? Because they draw the most eyeballs. That's what that's what John wants to watch. When we talk about fans in general, we're just going to characterize them as this is what John wants. That's what the fans want. So when you're watching a game on True TV or TNT, that ain't Duke and North Carolina. They might put them on against some of these crap teams early, maybe. That's the same reason they don't play at 11 o'clock in the morning, because they know for the money we're spending, these billions of dollars, we got to put some revenue producers in the windows that the most people are watching, kind of like John. So let's call up John and say, John, what game are you going to watch? Well, I'm really going to watch that Kansas game. I'm going to watch that Arizona game. Michigan, throwing them in there too. Well, what about California Baptist? Probably not. Probably not going to watch that one.
I don't know anything about California Baptist either. I'm not going to front that I do. I do not think that they have a football team, because if they do, it sounds like California Baptist is going to replace Abilene Christian as John's favorite whipping boy about the have-nots out there. But
a team I miss, Barry, that was a whipping boy, and Auburn played them when Terry Bowden was the coach. Whatever happened to Pacific?
Oh, they don't have football anymore. At least not at the Division I level. I remember that because Alexander Wright, who ran about a 4.2 40 for Auburn, he was about 70% legs. He could really run, maybe the fastest player in Auburn history other than Bo. And they had these little cornerbacks for Pacific. They could not keep up with him. He caught about 270 yards worth of passes. They couldn't cover.
Did he go by Ace Wright?
Ace Wright, yeah. Ace Wright, that's him. But What do you look at? I mean, when you look at like Duke and Kentucky, what do you remember? You remember the shot by Christian Laettner. You know, when you remember, some of the other ones, it's not like, oh boy, I cannot wait to see Kentucky versus Arizona again. You know what they're looking at? This the Cinderella story. They're looking for those. Now, those don't normally wait until the end of the year. The Florida Atlantics, the San Diego States, and all that. People, the George Masons and stuff.
Okay.
Those don't have the staying power, but that's one of the great attractions of the NCAA tournament. Look for the little guy. John says, nah, let's give him the same thing
here's what
over and over and over and over.
But here is what I like. Here's what I like. So, yeah, they're going to put those big boys, so to speak, on CBS. And I know Jim Nantz doesn't do it anymore, but whoever the new Jim Nantz is, the 18 broadcasters, you know who you're getting with those. They're getting the Michigans, the Dukes, the North Carolinas, the Kansas, Arizonas, whatever. But if you've got an Abilene Christian making a run or they're up with a minute to go, they'll switch that to CBS for the whole world to see. Oh, wow, look at this. Abilene Christian, California Baptist, they're about to upset Arizona. They'll put it all over CBS and just lock it in. But if they're getting beat by 40, which is mainly what happens, you ain't going to see a peep of them on CBS. And, that's kind of a disservice. Put them on CBS for a couple of minutes and let the world see that. But they're not going to do that. I get it. It's all about programming and eyeballs and this, that, and the other.
John's on HBO.
I will say this, though, Barry. Some of these I will say this. Some of these tip times, I don't
go back to this.
Start times.
If we could, if there are political parties out there that want to be in power in the United States, they need to have operatives in the field taking every note possible about the NCAA tournament, because that thing is so unbelievably well organized. Of course, they've been doing it for a billion years and all that. It is daunting, and I've been in the middle of it just yesterday, and it is unbelievable how quick. Whenever they say, like tonight, I'm taking a game just out of the blue. Okay, St. John's versus Northern Iowa. St. John's, Rick Pitino. Northern Iowa. John couldn't tell you anything about Northern Iowa except it's a university very possibly in the northern part of the state of Iowa. That's on CBS tonight.
Yes.
CBS tonight, St. John's versus Northern Iowa. It's not because Northern Iowa, who's the Panthers, by the way, are coached by, some former NBA grade or something like that, or St. John's has a really good shooting guard. That game is on CBS for 2 words, Rick Pitino. If St. John's was coached by Elmer Smith, St. John's ain't got a prayer for being on there. But let me take
Barry,
that game as a random. That's all.
Is that fair? There could be other teams out there with better players, guys we need to see, like this guy at St. Louis last night. I'm watching the Georgia game. We got to put Rick Pitino on because everybody knows Pitino up in the Northeast, which is a huge TV market. So Abilene Christian, California Baptist, Hofstra, whoever, High Point, we're not putting you guys on. I mean, I know you got a great story and you got some great kids and they work hard too, but they don't give us the ratings we need. So we'll pat you on the head and y'all have a fun time over there on True TV.
My original point is, and John just blows me away, why we don't have him at the negotiating table whenever there's conflict in the world representing the United States. Yeah, you guys, I know you probably, love your country and all that, but we over here in the United States, we're like, meh, and then they capitulate right then. Nobody debates like John does. Mr. Longshore, you have the floor for the rebuttal. All right, so maybe there was motive, but all right, not guilty. John, thank you. Thank you very much. Here's the other thing. This is my
I think more people should use in their negotiations. I mean, I think it's a very strong negotiating tool.
And use the little voice, the little whiny voice. Like I don't like to. That's always a good.
Oh, don't forget the lip. Don't forget the lip flutter. You use that when somebody on the other side of the table says something so utterly ridiculous, you just go.
Yeah. And then, somebody says, and I'll put it to you, did you indeed go to the house of so-and-so and such on the night of April the 11th? I don't remember. And in the background, you hear long, counsel, do you have something to say? No, Your Honor, just maybe a throat lozenge.
Remember the scene in Animal House when they're going up against in front of the student council?
My original point here, back to that, I did have one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
about the organization of the NCAA. It is unbelievable. I don't know how some people find enough to do, because I went back, when the coaches show plays, when our coaches show plays in pregame, I always take that opportunity to go to the restroom because I have about 9 minutes. I go back to the back, and there's a lady there. When I have my press pass on it, she says, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yes, I need to find the nearest men's room." She takes me there. I'm thinking, you could have just pointed it out. She says, "No." And, the next guy has a question. They have somebody else coming. She doesn't take me in there, but she takes me there. To John's point about some of these tip times, when St. John's plays Northern Iowa, they will play tonight at 6:10.
Wow.
You can bet whatever else happens in the world, that basketball is going to leave the referee's hand in the jump circle to start the game at 6:10. I don't know why they figure that.
Yes.
Maybe to give Charles Barkley a little more time to talk. Maybe Bruce Pearl, they're telling him, hey, be quiet in the studio because we got to get that game started at 6:10.
You want to know why it starts
amazing.
At 6:10? Because
I don't know.
Vegas told them to start it at 6:10. We need our handle throughout the day to have these peaks and valleys. We want these games to start at these slots throughout the day to even out our take. How about that for a reasoning? I don't know that. It just sounds good. That's what Vegas wants. They want 6:10 tip times. Let me tell you about this, Barry. How about this? Some exciting news.
Ooh, we're always up for that.
With our friends from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff do fabulous work, and they're expanding, they're growing, getting bigger each and every day, but still with that hometown touch that you want for all of your pine straw needs, for your landscaping, no matter how large or how small, whether you need an 18-wheeler load or just a pickup load, River Region Straw can handle it for you. Locations in Montgomery, off Chantilly on Ryan Road, in Prattville, in Auburn, and now their newest location in Chelsea on 280 there in Shelby County. Going great, off to a great start. Got a lot of great customers up in that area as well. Folks, River Region Straw, for all of your landscaping needs. I've seen a lot of people putting pine straw out, getting ready for the spring, getting ready for Easter. River Region Straw is the one company to call. Give Kenny a call or text today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959. River Region Straw, now with their fourth location in Shelby County on 280 in Chelsea, along with their locations in Auburn, Prattville, and Montgomery. It's the best, River Region Straw.
Yep. John is at his remote location. I am touching down briefly in my home studio in Troy after Oklahoma City. I was in Oklahoma City at 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. I'm in Troy, and right after the show, I'm driving to Hattiesburg, Mississippi for baseball. It's a busy time. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information. 4 for 4 in the Final Four. Pick the 4 teams to make the Final Four in this year's men's NCAA basketball tournament to win a 4-carat lab-grown diamond valued at well over $4,000 from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. The winner will be announced on Tuesday, April the 7th. And as a tiebreaker, submit the total points scored in the championship game to be played on Monday, April the 6th. We'll be taking entries from 6 p.m. Sunday, March the 15th through 11 a.m. Thursday, March the 19th. Entries can be submitted to Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com. That's Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com. 4 for 4 in the Final Four is sponsored by Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, Bama Budweiser, Phoenix Physical Therapy, and the Montgomery Regional Airport. In the event of a tie, there will be a live drawdown Tuesday, April 7th to determine the overall winner. Get your picks in beginning March 15th at Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com, and good luck. Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust.
Okay, hour number 2 underway here on this Friday. NCAA tournament basketball is certainly a very hot topic, and I wanted to just let everybody know and thank everybody that got in on the 4 for 4 in the Final Four contest. Of course, the entries are closed. You had to have your entries in by 11 a.m. yesterday. But Barry, when we get off the air, I'm going to count individually how many entries we got per page, because I can tell you how many pages of entries we got. I just haven't counted how many entries are on each page. But we had about 8 pages worth of entries, so I got to count how many entries are per page. But man, it is a ton. I'm going to have my work cut out for me, but we really appreciate everybody getting involved with that. And Barry, we can kind of see how our we've grown in terms of where we are, because I'm seeing a lot of people that have entered that are outside of the River region, outside of the state of Alabama. Yeah. So we really appreciate all of our viewers and listeners that catch us out throughout the day, and the word is spread and people have picked up on us, and we couldn't thank you, our viewer and our listener. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Our good friends at Yellow Hammer News, who have helped us out so much to spread the word and get us exposed to so many other people. Really appreciate the good folks there at Yellow Hammer News and yellowhammernews.com. Barry, our viewership on the Yellow Hammer News Facebook page is through the roof. You tipped me off on that months ago, and Baylor and the group up there sent me some numbers last week. Man, I was blown away.
It is unbelievable, and we are humbled. We are gratified by it all. We love the people who are, some of them are just discovering us. Yes, and John, many of them are from outside our home base area. We originate the program from Central Alabama, but we have a nationwide focus, or at least a regional-centric focus with a nationwide audience. And we certainly do appreciate that. If you haven't told your friends yet, what's stopping you? You know, it's on all of the different platforms. We're on YouTube Live and on replay throughout the day. We're on, on Apple Music, Apple iTunes, Spotify, again, Facebook, on the Yellowhammer News page. A lot of people consume us that way. So many different ways. Just hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It really helps us out, and we continue to grow. And again, we are certainly appreciative of everybody out there. What else?
I got some football I want to talk with you about here. I want to stay on the basketball theme. Look, I don't want this to get overshadowed. I don't want everybody focusing on one thing, which is the NCAA basketball tournament. March Madness, they call it. The country goes crazy. Everybody's filling out a bracket. 26 million at ESPN last year. But I don't want to overlook a game that will be taking place in Neville Arena this weekend, Barry. Don't know much about the opponent. And I'm really curious, as it is in my kind of crazy mind, how many people will actually be in attendance at that game?
Of course he's wondering that. Absolutely, he's wondering that. You know, in their win the other night in the opening round of the NCAA tournament against anybody, South Alabama, there was, I think John said something like 2,100 and something people. That broke a stretch. That broke a stretch of 84 straight sellouts at Neville Arena. Not only did it break it, but it shattered it out there. So they have to start a new sellout string because they weren't even close. Auburn will play on Sunday.
Oh,
that's the 22nd, right? Sunday's the 22nd. Yeah, they play on Sunday night at 6:30 against Seattle, not the Supersonics. Auburn and Seattle, Sunday night, 6:30, ESPN2. Seattle, they get to the second round by beating St. Thomas by 15. Anybody?
They're all playing on Sunday, 6:30, Sunday night, Neville Arena. Okay, maybe a better crowd than they got for a Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Maybe I can see that. But I just wonder where the interest is. Is it still a thing? Is it still something that the Auburn fan base, and look, they're loyal. I've been saying it forever. They're loyal. I'm thinking they're going to show up.
I'm thinking they are too. I'm thinking so. Absolutely. It's not all about the NCAA tournament. You know, it's not all about just March Madness. You know, there are some really good games going on in other venues. Last night, for instance, Virginia beats Arizona State in the women's tournament. I think, John, can you tell me authoritatively? I want you to be authoritative on, is Alabama, I know Auburn's not. Auburn was terrible in women's basketball. Yep. Is Alabama in the NCAA women's tournament? Come on, can you tell me?
You're asking me. Yes, they are.
So, to John's point
don't
earlier,
ask me who they're playing, where they're playing. I don't know.
Or a single person on the Alabama women's basketball team. The best John's going to be able to come up is Jay Barker's daughter, but that was like 3 years ago. All right. Here's
exactly
the deal.
who I'm thinking of.
So, you know, in case you're wondering whether this is partisan conversation, no, it's not. You know, how many people are going to be there at Neville Arena to watch Auburn men's basketball against Seattle? Think about the Seattle guys. They're like, wait a minute, we're in the NIT and we got to go where? You know how that's what do you figure, John? About a 5-hour flight into MGM from Seattle to go from SeaTac?
Does the NIT is their travel as painless and luxurious as the NCAA's? I don't think so.
Well, at MGM it is, but I don't know. That's a long way. But okay, so that's not just gig the Aubs. Maybe a little bit, but it's not all that, because there's also the women's basketball tournament where the Alabama women under head coach Christy Curry
Christy Curry. Christy
They
Curry.
played-
Yes, I was going to go. I was going to go Rick. Not Rick Moody. Who was the former coach?
It's Rick Moody. Yeah,
Rick
it's
Moody.
Rick
Okay,
Moody.
all right.
Alabama will play Rhode Island.
The Blue Hens.
Son of a, they are. What in the heck? How in the, where did that, I'm
Blue
thunderstruck.
Hens.
Yeah, Rhode Island and Alabama will open play in the women's NIT on ESPN News tomorrow at 1:30 in the afternoon in Fort Worth. Now, anybody who knows me knows, I mean, I am all about women's basketball. I've called a national championship game. I was the voice of women's basketball for a lot of games, for a lot of years. So I'm all about this. But they play in Fort Worth.
Okay.
It's the opening round. Again, I venture to say that if John was the commissioner, the czar of the NCAA, they would be playing the opening round in Tuscaloosa rather than sending everybody down to Fort Worth. There's Fort Worth, there's Sacramento. Thank dadgum Jim Rome. It's Sacramento, Fort Worth. Those
not
are
in Fresno, are they?
The venues today. Yesterday
right,
they did play.
Let me ask you this: what channel do I need to delete off of my setup channel so I don't stumble upon the women's tournament?
No. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You know, ESPN. They don't have the tournament. They've never had the men's NCAA tournament. It's never been a thing on ESPN. Okay. They've never had it. They've never been able to outbid them. Women's tournament is all about ESPN. Alabama's on ESPN News tonight. Yeah. I mean, ESPN will have UC San Diego versus TCU in women's basketball. ESPN2 tonight, ESPNU, ESPN News for Western Illinois versus North Carolina women, stuff like that. They are funding that. They do a significant amount of women's basketball games across the NCAA, and Alabama is one of the several schools that has both the men's basketball team and the women's basketball team in the NCAA tournament. Auburn is one of a bunch of schools that don't have either team.
Yeah, ouch.
In the NCAA
I wasn't going to go there.
tournament.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but it is true. So, yeah, Christy Curry and the Lady Tide, we'll keep an eye out for them. Nice accomplishment. They've kind of, done some good things up there trying to build their program. Okay, we're going to check them out. Barry, I'm still trying to, and maybe you mentioned it when I had a little transmission issue. What is the mascot for the team Auburn's playing Sunday night?
Seattle. I thought they were the Pilots, but that was actually the name of their major league team that they had for 1 year. I said the Pilots, but I'm not exactly sure now. There's a It is.
While you're looking that up,
yeah,
let me make this bold statement. And I have not seen the entire makeup of the NIT, but Barry, I got to think Auburn's the best team in the NIT. They were on the verge of making the NCAA tournament. Yeah, I mean, is there another team out there that's even in their class?
Heck, I don't know. I never could figure out Auburn anyway. I mean, I've never watched a team, with Auburn standing that I could not figure out what they were about. I mean, they could lose to Seattle by 10, and I'd be like, sure, They could beat Seattle by 40, and I'm like, well, okay. Yeah, I cannot figure, especially I'm not sure who all for Auburn is going to be playing and
that
playing
was my
hard
next question
in that game. By the way, they're the Seattle Red Hawks. By the way,
Red Hawks.
Yes.
Are you surprised, Barry? Keyshawn Murphy pretty much just said, I've had enough. I'm done. Kind of like in football, you see guys opting out for worthless, meaningless bowl games. Something else I should have trademarked. It sounds to me like Keyshawn Murphy is starting a trend of, this is a worthless, meaningless basketball tournament. I'm out.
The only thing that makes me wonder about that, I mean, there are people who, give up all the time. I get it sometimes, but when people opt out of bowl games during football season, they're like the Sun Bowl, which is usually either right before or right after Christmas. I don't remember. Technically, you haven't started the winter term yet, right? Well, Keyshawn Murphy says, I'm out in the middle of March. That's right in the middle of the semester, right? Is he quitting school? If their agreement for NIL is just through the season, he's costing himself some money. If the agreement is through the end of semester, look, we're going to pay you this amount of money in fall semester. We're going to pay you this amount of money in winter or spring semester. If he's quitting, he's costing himself some money, some significant money. And that never used to be a thing. It used to be like, well, I'm preparing for the NBA. Maybe Keyshawn Murphy's preparing for the NBA, but it ain't like when Christian McCaffrey decided not to suit up for Stanford in the Sun Bowl, one of the very first to make that decision, because you knew he was going to be an NFL player. Keyshawn Murphy, he's just, it ain't because, man, I'm going to get ready with my personal trainer and I'm going to get ready for the NBA. He ain't going to be drafted in the NBA. I mean, he's just tired of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure the NBA is preparing for Keyshawn Murphy. We asked Jason Caldwell about that yesterday, and he's thinking he doesn't get it either. He's thinking G League, European League at best.
Keyshawn Murphy got tired of playing for Auburn.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And I think, this heard some rumblings. This team has not been all on the same page throughout the season. Been some issues off the court, maybe on the bench. Maybe he was ready to move on. Who knows? But even with that, team still went out there and won. Came back and won the other night against South Alabama. Now they got the Red Hawks of Seattle. Heck, they might end up winning it all. And do they still go to Madison Square Garden for the Final Four in the NIT?
Hey, John, let me see.
I hate to ask all these
top of my
questions,
head,
I should know, but I just don't know.
No, it is at a. Gosh, I should know this. I'm embarrassed. They play at Gainbridge Coliseum. That is in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. That's in Indianapolis. So, and I think it's the same deal. The men's tournament's played at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. The men's champion. The women, the NIT is in Indianapolis. Why the heck, John? Why are they doing that?
I don't know. I did not know that. I thought
they had a prayer of gaining some local interest if they'd play it in, I don't know, San Diego or Madison Square Garden or something like that. But the championship game of the NIT is April the 5th in Indianapolis. Ain't nobody going to be paying attention to the NIT championship in Indianapolis.
That's the day before the NCAA national championship game. Maybe they're just trying to bogart off of that, ride their coattails. I don't know. To me, I thought the lure of the NIT was, hey, you can get to Madison Square Garden and play in New York and all that type stuff. Indianapolis, Keyshawn, I get it. Well, I wouldn't want to go to Indianapolis either for the NIT.
Yeah, but he's costing himself some money. I don't, unless he was just sick of it, because it ain't like, he reached an agreement with the coach, for a settlement of the remaining NIT money. It ain't like he even told anybody. Yeah. It's just one day they're at practice for the NIT and Coach Pearl blows a whistle. Hey, anybody seen Keyshawn?
Yeah, where is
he? And he ain't there for the game, and he just woke up and said, done.
Yeah, I doubt he was in the library studying for a test either. Who knows? But they're going to make it without him, and play pretty well the other night. So we have that going for us on Sunday, along with all the NCAA action going on throughout the weekend as well. So a lot of basketball, but I mentioned some football. We're going to get to that here in a little bit later on. Barry, when we come back, it is something that we do around this time each and every day. It's called the Phantom's Daily Dog, and we were 3-0 going into yesterday's game. As you can maybe tell by the River Region Straw chat line, there's some smart alecks out there already asking the question, hey, how'd the Phantom do? We'll tell you when we get back.
How come they're smart alecks when they say it if the Phantom didn't win, but, they're smart? I don't know. Just a question here. Longshore and McKnight, in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. Many well-known restaurants in the River Region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You got a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What I miss? I have no idea.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us here. About 22 minutes past the hour here on a Friday, hour number 2. Ralph Michaels, Wager Talking the Gold Sheet in about 10 minutes. I Barry, yesterday, our Phantom's Daily Dog. Hate to, rekindle a bad memory, but we had the Troy Trojans plus 13.5 taking on Nebraska yesterday. Loved the 13.5. Wasn't real sure that Troy could win the game outright, but really felt good about the number. But it didn't connect. So, hey, we don't want to harp on that. We want to go ahead and move on. Our first loss of the week. Went into yesterday 3-0. Now we're 3-1 on the week. We're guaranteed a winning week. At least we got that going for us.
Yeah. So, the pressure's off there. And that's guaranteeing a winning week. There have been times when the Phantom has said, hey, it was a non-losing weekend. We're not talking about a non-losing weekend. We're talking about winning. And he had that guaranteed.
Guaranteed. All right, so we're going to tonight. Oh, I kind of tipped my hand there. It is a night game.
All right.
Barry, this game is tipping off at 9:10 tonight on True TV.
Okay. All right. We go to the West Regional of the NCAA Men's Tournament in St. Louis, Missouri.
Interesting that you pointed out where this game's going to be playing
There
tonight,
was Missouri, a method behind that, yes.
Missouri and Miami in St. Louis, and Miami's a favorite. Now, I got to think, Barry, there's going to be a larger contingent of Missouri fans at this game than there will be Miami Hurricane fans, seeing that what Columbia, Missouri's like, 2 hours from St. Louis, and there's probably a lot of Missouri grads there in the Arch City. So I'm expecting a very heavily weighted Missouri crowd tonight. A Missouri team that went 20-12 overall, 10-8 in the very difficult SEC. Miami, on the other hand, okay, 25-8 overall, 13-5 in the ACC. But I don't think these two conferences are matched up evenly. So with that, I'm taking the underdog here. The Missouri Tigers basically playing at home, catching 2.5 against a Miami team that I think they can beat outright, but we're going to take the 2.5 just in case. That's your Phantoms Daily Dog, Missouri, plus the 2.5 taking on Miami, 9-10. It's a late tip.
In St. Louis. That's one of the operative things in there. Does Missouri deserve that kind of a break in scheduling? I mean, Florida is playing Prairie View in Tampa. Missouri is playing Miami in St. Louis.
That makes sense.
That doesn't make, there's a little favoritism involved.
Barry, let's play first thing that comes into your head. A little mind association here. You don't want to think about it a lot. Just as soon as I ask you, the first thing that comes into your mind. So here we go.
All right.
Earlier this week, Vegas released win totals. I'm going to give you these two. First thing that enters your mind. Over or under? Auburn 6.5, Alabama 8.5. Where will they go?
I say Auburn under. And I say, what is Alabama, 8.5? I say under there too. Both of them under. Under.
Both of them under. Wow.
Both of them under.
Barry, I got Auburn going over 6.5. I like Auburn going over 6.5. I think that's too low. I think they've got that half on Alabama. Can they go 9? I got to see a little bit more. But as of March the 20th, I'm kind of with you on Alabama under. I like Auburn over. The win totals, those came out earlier this week. The only team, Barry, the highest teams with a win total that I've seen, and I hadn't seen them all, Indiana and Oregon were at 10.5. Notre Dame was at 11.5.
I like Notre Dame. Notre Dame, yeah, I like Notre Dame. I don't know about that. That's a bunch. Whew, that's a bunch. But Notre Dame is going to be good. This may be the year of Notre Dame.
It could be. And I looked at their schedule. It's manageable. I mean, but 11.5 for a 12-game regular season. There were Georgia, Texas. I think they're 9.5. Nobody's in double digits in the SEC, but I did see where Oregon and Indiana were, and Notre Dame was as well. So what's interesting? Well, I want to ask Ralph Michaels about that as well, who is in the green room and ready to join us here today. Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk and the Gold Sheet. Ralph, good morning. How are you?
Hey, guys. What the heck are you doing talking about college football today?
Yeah. If John is breathing, he's talking about college football. That's no surprise there. There have been surprises in the NCAA tournament, Ralph. Anything really shock you so far?
People make a big deal about higher seeds winning, but there really was only one upset yesterday, and that was Gonzaga. Every other higher seed that won was either a favorite or a dog, only up to 2 points. So truly the only upset was Wisconsin, and that one did shock me.
Yeah, that was a big one, Ralph. I don't know if we mentioned this to you, Ralph. My daughter was finished 7th out of 26 million in the ESPN bracket last year. 7th. How about that? Out of all those entries, unbelievable. She had High Point in her bracket yesterday to beat Wisconsin. I don't know how she does it.
That's awesome. I read a lot of things. Like I wasn't on Wisconsin at all, but I thought they had a good matchup against High Point. And obviously, you still got to play the game, and that's what happens. So, we've seen Wisconsin, and, they were a team that, down the stretch, they played well. They lost on the road to Ohio State. They lost on the road to Oregon and then beat Washington and Illinois and lost to Michigan by 3 points. So for them to come in, as the higher seed and lose, and, the modern day of 3-point shots, High Point made 15 3-point shots. I don't think they made 15 3-point shots the entire season. And in fact, they only averaged 34% shooting 3 points. So, hey, it's the new era that if a team gets hot from three, it doesn't matter who you are, you can win a game.
Ralph, you had something on your X account, on your Twitter account, about round one March Madness in terms of the over under. Is there any big trend there that I'm thinking of, Ralph?
Well, blindly, it didn't really occur yesterday, but we had some high-flying teams yesterday. I mean, it seemed like all the high-tempo, high-scoring teams played yesterday. The Wisconsins, the St. Louis's, all those teams that press tempo. But blindly, the last 3 years, if you blindly played every under in round one, you cashed 65%. Now, that I'm not telling you not to play an over, but be very careful if you are playing an over, especially today. There's many times that we see one day people see some high-scoring games and think, oh, they're all going to go over today. I think it's more an anomaly of tempo and offensive efficiency for those teams yesterday compared to today.
Yeah, a lot of people have, also take an underdog early because it's early round. Maybe some of these higher seeds are thinking further down the road. What's your philosophy? And the Thursday, Friday, round one of the tournament, is it more dog friendly or is that just a myth?
That has been a myth the last few years. There's no question. But one thing I will tell you, and I'm trying to find that data now, and I'm remiss for not having it up. Top three seeds in round one with at least 4 days of rest, which means they didn't win their finals and they didn't play on Thursday, with a total under 148, have gone 23-5, 82% against the spread. So that's a powerful number. So I'm with you. I think the mentality is, these number one seeds just want to win game one. They rest their starters in game two. They have a team they're playing in 2 days. But it hasn't been the case. But, we saw Duke struggle as the number one seed last night. So even when you have one of these wow records, 82% against the spread, make sure you do like the team anyway.
Right.
And the trend just makes it stronger. Don't blindly bet a team because of a trend. That's the number one thing I try to share. Yes, I come here with some wow over under or ATS numbers, but again, those are hindsight. Those are looking at with history. And yes, we could take some of that and think it'll likely occur again this time, but don't blindly bet a play or a trend because of that. Only allow it to make your play stronger or perhaps keep you off of a play because of it.
That's not just an NCAA tournament observation either. Am I correct, Ralph?
Oh, God, betting. And you know what? Yeah. I have to say it more and more because, in the last 3 years, we know that sports bettors have probably grown 3 or 4 times with the legalization of gambling across the state. And so many people see these numbers that aren't accustomed to them that I almost have to preface this every video I do, sharing that data and making sure people bet responsibly and efficiently.
Yes, great point. Glad you pointed that out to our audience, Ralph. Okay, let me ask you this. Alabama faces Hofstra this afternoon. Their second leading scorer, Aiden Holloway, will not be in uniform. What do you think about the Tide against a team like Hofstra in this first round?
Well, you look at Alabama, and number one, they were all offense, and they're up tempo. Of course, we know that with Oates. I think that actually slows down their tempo. On Hofstra, you have a team that in the last 3 weeks, their defense actually ranks 60 on the metrics. I think with that player missing, being an integral part of your rotation, and Hofstra having a solid defense and the number 348 tempo. There's only 365 teams. They're one of the slowest tempo teams.
Wow.
I like under first half. I think Alabama slows it down. I think Hofstra keeps it close. My issue is I like first halves versus full games. It did burn me yesterday. I used a first half play for my client that went over by a basket in a game that they called a penalty with 0 seconds to go in the first half, and they gave him 2 free throws, and he made them both, and you lost. But that's part of betting. So in that game, I really don't have an opinion on the side because Alabama's second string should be able to cover this game, but I do like the under because of the situation.
The Miami of Ohio Redhawks, they make it in as one of the first 4. Terrific game against SMU. Should they even have been in, Ralph?
I don't think so. But you know what? I guess no matter how strong your opinion is, and again, I had about 80,000 people watch that video on TikTok.
Yeah.
They do got validation winning the play-in game. So I didn't think they deserved to be in. Not that they're not a good team, but the metrics and the schedule they played and where they ranked based on those metrics, they were not one of the best 36 teams without a qualifying bid. But unlike college football and what they did to Florida State, the basketball committee felt a undefeated regular season warranted you being here.
Well, let's speak about this then. You were talking about this, noting when you were in the green room, John was talking college football about early totals in college football. What'd you say, John? Alabama football in terms of win totals, 8.5. Auburn, 6.5.
6.5.
Do you believe in those? I mean, are those of value when you're talking about, the 20th of March?
Yes and no. Up until 4 or 5 years ago, once January 1st hit, I used to work on returning starters and productivity returning.
Yeah.
But now it's out the window. There's no way I would bet a win total at this point in time with not knowing who's going to be playing, with spring camps just taking place now, without knowing who's going to leave the team. And while the transfer portal window's closed, it doesn't mean people decide, hey, I'm going to sit out anyway or put my name in the portal and sees what happens down the road. So to me, it's changed. I will say this, once I get to the beginning of August, when they start their fall camps, yes, you may lose one player, but at that point, I'm very comfortable making it. But to be honest, I used to have the schedules done. I used to do my projected power ratings. I have not done one thing. I have not looked at Alabama's schedule. I have not looked at Auburn's schedule. Until college basketball season is done, I'd rather just keep quiet because my sense of giving you anything that's important is about the same as Fred Flintstone would give you.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ralph. I mean, you just don't know how these rosters are going to settle out, and you don't know who the starters are going to be. And a lot of these teams have new faces. A lot of, like Auburn, for instance, so many new players on this team for Alex Golish. Yeah. I don't see how in the world you could make an educated guess until we get closer to kickoff.
The one thing that is important is this. There's so many people when they start doing their work says, oh, this team is better, and this team is better, and this team is better, and they think everybody's better just because they get in some transfers or get in some players. Remember, guys, a lot of these transfers were people that didn't pan out in their old schools. I mean, yes, there are a handful of Khalid Downs that was a stud at Alabama and, went to Ohio State and, he did what he did. But those are 10 a year. So don't automatically assume because you're getting an SEC transfer or something like that. To me, I don't make any season win totals until I go through everybody's schedule. I put in a projected power rating score. It gives you a projected win-loss total after the year. And my best advice is this. If you have a few teams that you like in a conference, let's say you're a MAC guy and you like Kent State, you like Miami of Ohio, and you think, Toledo's going to be good this year. I then look for opponents that have to play all those teams you like and then perhaps fade that team. So I think there's actually more value betting on situations that you're not betting on by liking some teams, but putting those three likes together, it gives you a strong fade on the one team that's playing all three of those opponents. So there's a lot more work than just looking at your team that you want to bet. You also look at the opponents that they're playing.
Makes a lot
Ralph,
of sense.
is there
to
a
me.
game today that our viewers and listeners really need to take a closer look at?
Well, we're winding down the season. We'll have, one more Friday for the college basketball season. So I will tell you this. If you go to Wager Talk and you look at the front page, I do have a 5% today, which sells for $35. But let me just share it with you. And it is a dog tonight. So let me just read you my write-up with what I put at Wager Talk. I'm trying to find it.
Right.
And it is Cal Baptist. Now, I bet on Cal Baptist to win the WAC. And if you've never watched their guard play, he is one of the best offensive guards in college basketball. And I really love an underdog that does not shoot a lot of threes, because we saw Wisconsin upset. If you hit those threes, it's great. But when you're playing in these cavernous arenas, you can get very cold from three. When you have a penetrating point guard that's going to get 15 points, that's going to go to the line 10 times, that's going to get the opposing team in some foul trouble, that's going to be the case. So they are getting 14.5 against the Jayhawks. The Jayhawks finished the season going 6-5 straight up and only 5-6 against the spread. And when they have a good offensive opponent with a high total, when they have an offensive team that plays some defense as well with a total under 152, they're only 2-6 against the spread. Kansas, their last 7 games, they've shot only 40% from the field. And that includes, again, a game against Kansas State where they shot 59%. Wow. That makes that number even worse. Kansas, number 297 in bench minutes. We saw Auburn wear out a couple times with the bench minutes we talked about. Yeah. And they have St. John's on deck. So St. John's an up-tempo team. If Kansas takes a lead and has a big lead in the second half, they will rest their starters to have them ready for St. John's. This is a great backdoor possibility. If you look at the Cal Baptist team, they are number 106 in KenPom, but the last couple weeks, they actually have an offense that ranks 71 and a defense that ranks 22 in the country. Lancers shoot very few threes. Dominic Daniels has been electric down the stretch. Cal Baptist, number 15 in effective field goal percentage on defense. And while they were only 1-7 as a big favorite of 9 or more, they went 18-6 as a dog or a small favorite against the spread, including 14-2, 88% with at least 2 days rest. I'm not expecting an upset, but I'm expecting an easy cover from the Cal Baptist Lancers getting 14.5 against the Kansas Jayhawks.
How about that?
Love it.
Talked me into it. All of a sudden, I'm paying attention to the Cal Baptist Lancers, courtesy of Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk. How do people get all of the information and all of the research that you make available?
Well, again, follow me on X or Twitter at CalSportsLV. Check out my Wager Talk TikToks. You don't need to be a TikTok member. All you have to do is go to Wager Talk TikTok, and you'll see hundreds of videos that all the cappers do. And, I have another one talking about those number 1 seeds. I think it was at 181,000 views last night. So wow. I'm hoping it's well over 200,000 views. And
no doubt.
Head to my homepage, check my free plays daily, WT.buzz/RM.
Excellent as
Well,
always.
thank you
Ralph.
so much.
Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you for the Sweet 16.
Yep. Coming
the
up.
Second day of the Sweet 16 next week. Thanks, guys.
Excellent stuff. Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk joining us here.
Barry, I'm watching Cal Baptist tonight. He's talked me into it.
If I am the AD at Cal Baptist, I'm sending him a thank you note because Ralph Michaels has made Cal Baptist relevant, John, and I didn't think that was possible. So,
Barry, somebody asked me years ago, does it bother you if you bet on a team that's got a religious significance involved, like TCU,
Baylor,
Abilene Christian,
yeah,
Cal Baptist? And I went, no, it really doesn't.
No.
Should it? No, it really doesn't.
Yes. Because
if those teams cover for me, maybe I'll put a little extra in the plate the next day. How about that?
And there's some people, because of the line and because of the number and the way a game is going, they bring religion into it. They make promises, So
you ain't kidding.
Yeah. We've got a lot more still to come, including our Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel coming up. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
It's Ram Truck Month at Stivers, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealer. New Rams $20,000 off or 0% for 6 years, and heavy duties $12,000 off. Backed by Ram's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The Declaration of Deals sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealer. Grand Cherokees, Grand Cherokee L's, and Gladiators up to $15,000 off, and Wranglers $13,000 off. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel is in the green room, Barry. Before we start spinning, though, let's make a prediction. Bama, Hofstra today, 2:15 this afternoon. Bama, an 11.5-point favorite. I'd say Bama gets the win, but they do not cover the 11.5.
I say they'll be just fine. Hofstra's a good team. Alabama. Now, if it had been, Aiden Sherrill with 2.1 pounds of marijuana, then they'd be in big trouble. But Alabama's got shooters. They've got guys.
Well, I've heard people say, Barry, if you're going to lose a player from a particular position group, guard is where you need to lose it because they got a lot of depth there.
Yeah, they do. If it was a center, they'd be in trouble. But big day, Latrell Wrightsell, Alabama wins and covers against Hofstra. And everybody will talk about what a great coaching job Nate Oates did to atone for the loss of a player who got caught. Maybe he just likes big blunts, maybe that's.
Maybe so. Yeah.
Maybe that's why the 2.1 pounds.
Remember in that Cheech and Chong movie, Up in Smoke, and Chong passed Cheech, that big old joint. It was about the size of.
It looked like one of those burritos from Chipotle or something,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Lord.
So, we'll see how it goes. Hey, Tobias, see you joining in today. I always appreciate you joining in here. He says Hofstra will out-rebound Alabama. Come on, you're going out on a limb there, Tobias.
Yeah, that's easy money right there. That he's making a point. Speaking of that, it's time to hit our Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
What? But before you spin it, Gurn, hold on just a second. I did see this, Barry. Laura Rutledge is leaving the SEC network. That Matt Berry is going to be doing SEC Nation in the fall. I don't know if you saw that yesterday.
I did. Love us some Laura Rutledge here on this program. We're pro Laura Rutledge. Okay. Now here we go on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel, brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22, I-85 Shorter, Alabama. We have no idea what these mean. We're just taking them as they come. Let me out. Is that Keyshawn? Oh, no.
More animals.
The gorillas are strong. Watch this. This gorilla was ready to get out of the Memphis Zoo. He's like, uh-oh. Oh, boy.
Had enough.
He was ready to get out. Either somebody was messing with him or he's just tired of all the pellet food, I mean, stop giving me that brown, nasty, dry crap. Give me a banana. Give me something. I didn't know. The gorillas, don't mess with gorillas. Those are strong.
No. And I'm thinking, what's the deal there? Because could they not climb out of that thing? I mean, maybe they've got some wiring there at the top, but that did not look very secure to me.
Got to, yeah. Maybe somebody was messing with the gorilla. Don't get the gorillas mad. They are crazy strong. All right, here we go. Back at it. Here we go again.
All right, back at it.
Good
5 to go. Let's see what we got. Yeah, no.
You got that one jerk in the field trip. Hey, gorilla, nah, and the gorilla's head. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Just talk.
Love it.
Love it.
Oh, Jeremiah Love. In the NFL draft big board from Connor Rogers, Jeremiah Love is the top prospect. Caleb Downs, number 2. Mendoza, number 3. Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame.
We need to keep that quiet, Barry. We need to keep that quiet because I know the Saints are very interested in Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, they need a running back. And I think he's a great prospect, but it's just not a running back league. Still, even now, he may be the number 1 prospect, but that doesn't mean he's the number 1 draft pick. It depends on what the team needs. And the team, the Raiders don't need a running back. They've got that kid whose name escapes me from Boise State. And it's not a running back league anymore. All right, back at it.
No, it isn't, but you got to have a good one. Hey, Barry, if I could real quick, I gotta throw it out there. Robbie from Greenville, can you comment on this?
Cannot.
I didn't think so.
Was asking me about that. He said, "What do you?" Man, that's kind of all over the place right now, and it's not just ESPN. It's Pete Thamel and everybody. I have no insight. I mean, I was with him on the bus last night. Everybody was dejected. It's not like, hey, coach. He is a terrific coach. And, of course, the connection there is Brent Jones, John. He's now the associate AD.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
I do not know anything about that.
All right. Let's see what we got coming up.
Troy. Yes.
Oh, heck yeah. You ain't kidding.
Great job. He's a terrific coach.
Oh, buy him out. Wait, it's got to have something to do with Auburn football.
Oh, Hubert Davis. Yeah, they're not happy with him. They were leading by 19 against Virginia Commonwealth, and they lose. That just doesn't happen. They weren't real happy with him anyway. They liked him better when he was on ESPN Basketball College Game Day. Somebody tweeted this, what they need to do in case they cut loose with Hubert Davis, and I think they will. They said, could you imagine this in Chapel Hill? Bill Belichick on the left side wearing his Carolina blue. Phil Jackson on the right side wearing Carolina blue. Belichick and Phil Jackson as the head coach of the 2 major sports at Carolina. Can you imagine? No, but that's not going to happen. Never mind. Strike that. That never happens. All right. John is frozen up, but the wheel is well oiled. Let's get the wheel moving here. Again, we got 3 to go before we wrap this program up. Good job curating so far by Gurn Jr. That hurts. That hurts. Okay, somebody got a shot to the. Oh, Cade Cunningham's best player for the Pistons. Collapsed lung. Oh. Takes a well, that's a total foul. I mean, not like he deserves a collapsed lung, but I could see how that happened. The rib hits in there. But yeah, you don't do that. You get a foul every time. Collapsed lung, I've never had one. It does not sound like it's any joke whatsoever. Collapsed lung. They got to, put a bicycle tire tube in there and get that lung blown up again. It's got to be scary as heck. And that's a big loss for the Pistons because he's a best player, one of the best players in the NBA. Drop.
Tough stuff. Wow.
60.
Drops. Charles Barkley.
Doncic.
Yes,
60. This is an NBA. Is anybody paying attention to the NBA with March Madness going on? Luka Doncic.
You kidding me?
60. Yeah, Doncic gets 60 against the Heat in Miami. And there were a lot of Laker fans in Miami. He has had 4 games of at least 40 points in the last 8 games. Forget about LeBron. Doncic is by far the best player on that team. Forget about Austin Reeves and those guys. This is Doncic's club, and he's rapidly becoming one of the faces of the NBA.
Oh, yeah. Have you noticed, Barry? Maybe you hadn't because of the NCAA tournament. I know you've been busy with Troy, but LeBron has picked his game up the last week or so. I mean, he's diving for loose balls, big in assist, popping a bunch of points in. I'm thinking, wait a minute. Where was LeBron like 2 months ago when he was on load management? Now we're getting close to the playoffs, and LeBron acts like he's 25 again.
That's because he gets bored when it's February in Oklahoma City. Now, we got to make the playoffs. That means more people are going to pay attention to me. It's all about that for LeBron. I've lost a lot of respect for him. I've never been an anti-LeBron guy, but I've never loved him. I think we do have one more.
Like yes. I'm with you.
Stowaway.
Stowaway. This could be interesting.
This is going to be another one of those Gurn Jr. specials with a funny video. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. A red fox. Yeah. It's a ship full of automobiles, and somehow a fox gets on there. From Southampton, England, which is mostly where all the ships come from in England, to New York, red fox, now at the Bronx Zoo. Reckon how that happens, yeah.
But Barry, I mean, aren't they real particular about bringing animals or fruit or stuff like that from other countries? I remember through immigration or customs, a guy said, hey, did you bring any fruit or vegetables or animals with you? I went, animals? What? No, heck no.
I wonder what happens if you get caught with fruit. Oh, come on, man. It's just a guava. I mean, do you get handcuffed? I mean, do they send you back?
Look, man, hey, you got any weed? You got any weed in your bag? No, sir, officer, no weed. You got any fruit? Ooh, I might have some fruit. You might have busted me on that.
Yeah, but no weed. So when we come back on Monday, we will already be in the Sweet 16. We'll know the results of the weekend. We'll be able to preview ahead. Next week promises to be a very interesting week as well. I'll actually be at home for a little bit before going on the road on Thursday, but I should be on the show every day at least after a busy week this week.
Now, Barry, let's don't discount. We will also be recapping and breaking down Auburn's sizzling win against the Red Hawks of Seattle Sunday night.
Will we? I mean, if it happens, will it be a big deal? If they lose, now I know it'll be a big deal if they lose. I know it'll definitely be. If they win, it'll be like, oh, okay, that happened. Move on.
I'm going to go with 5,814. The number of people in attendance at
the number of
Neville Arena Sunday.
The number of toes in attendance. It'll be 5,000. If there ain't 5,000 people for South Alabama, they ain't gonna. I mean, they're working 3,000 for that one. You're way off. You give the Auburn too much credit.
See.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Thanks for Ralph Michaels for being with us here from Wager Talk. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud.